Do you remember when we first met Nita and Jade during the 2020 Always Rejoice convention? That series provided so many valuable lessons about what it takes to be an effective teacher. This month, we have another new dramatization. And in this episode, the story has come full circle, with Jade now conducting her first Bible study using Enjoy Life Forever.
So, what's your biggest question about life?
Why are people so obsessed with kicking round objects?
Well, there's that, but seriously, anything?
Why do people hate? If we're all God's children, what's the deal?
Good question, and one the Bible definitely answers. But you've a train to catch, so we'll stop there. But is Tuesday still good?
Assuming space-time hasn't collapsed into a singularity, I'm open.
This is actually something I often yearn for when watching Jehovah's Witness propaganda.
Okay, cool. So, on Tuesday, we'll carry on with...
Hey!
So, how's the study going?
Brilliant. We're zipping right through the easy stuff.
So yes, we're back in the world of Jade and Anita. As I suggested may be the case, it seems that they are now doing a regular series of videos using these two characters from the Always Rejoice convention, characters that were used to show the indoctrination process, the means by which you turn someone into a Jehovah's Witness. As I said in the last month's rebuttal, I think with these two characters, the organization realizes they have hit on something good. They have found two actors who are actually quite compelling, which is rare for Jehovah's Witness propaganda. Usually the acting is terrible, but the two women playing Jade and Nita are actually good actors, I think. So they've decided to have them do regular dramatizations. And in this installment, we see things come full circle. Having been herself indoctrinated into the Jehovah's Witness religion by means of a Bible study, Jade is now conducting her own Bible study for the first time. Of course, it's not the first time we've seen Jade conducting a Bible study. Those of you who watched the Always Rejoice convention might remember a brief scene in the music video finale from that year's convention, in which Jade is portrayed in the future paradise conducting a Bible study with Little Bo Peep.
But to have your love forever is a real and lasting treasure. You alone will prove to be a joy eternally.
So yes, Little Bo Peep there, who's been resurrected into paradise. Goodness knows where her sheep are. Presumably they are chilling in a hot tub somewhere with some wolves. But anyway, it seems that by the time Armageddon comes, by the time all of the carnage and devastation has been landscaped into a global paradise, By that point, Jade will have got her Bible study game tight to the point where she'll be able to explain everything to Little Bo Peep using only the Silver Sword, the New World Translation. Apparently, Enjoy Life Forever and other Bible study aids will be surplus to requirements in the new system, apparently. And also, Nita will be able to wear trousers when she's assisting in the preaching work. All sorts of things will change, apparently, by the time Paradise comes. There's just the small matter of making it to Armageddon, of course. And so, in the meantime, we're going to follow Jade's exploits as she perfects the art of making someone a Jehovah's Witness.
So, what I love about this prophecy is that it was written like 200 years before it actually happened, and every single detail came true. The men in charge just left the gates open. I mean, I would have fired anyone that got drunk and left the city gates open. Anyway, back to the prophecy.
So God is love, but he's going to kill billions. How's that work?
Oh, that's a good question. I wonder if that's going to get an answer.
Well, it'll make sense later. But for now, let's just focus on what I was talking about earlier. What's so nice about this chapter is that it's talking about prayer. Well, it's talking about how Jehovah helps us with prayer. And so it's really lovely because we can pray to someone that's created. Basically, all of this is evidence of the last days. So what would you say are the signs of the last days?
Wars, disasters, rude people. Yeah.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. That's fine. We can just, we'll just review it in the next lesson. It's fine. Do you want to just wrap it up now then?
Yeah.
Is everything okay?
Blissful. I'm gonna go.
All right. Bye, Gladys. And she just said one word. I don't know what to do.
Wow, thankfully I've never had a student like that.
Okay, she's really getting a hang of this irony thing, isn't she? But seriously, I really put myself into the study to try and make it live. And I get yes, no, maybe, or another insufferable off-topic question.
Maybe let's do a bit of research.
I knew you'd say that.
Well, that was very interesting. There's quite a bit to unpack there. Before I really launch into this, let's get a bit of housekeeping done. I feel we need to fact check something Jade said earlier in her botched Bible study.
What I love about this prophecy is that it was written like 200 years before it actually happened, and every single detail came true. The men in charge just left the gates open.
Thankfully, I don't have to go into this in too much detail because this is an organisation that just keeps repeating the same bad arguments again and again and again. I've already discussed the Isaiah prophecy, supposedly given 200 years before the fact, in Sushi number 96, thumbnail here, if Tibor is gracious, and we know he always is, apart from that one time. Did Isaiah predict Cyrus 200 years in advance? Spoiler alert, no, he didn't, or the book of Isaiah didn't. I explain why in the Sushi, but bottom line, in this particular part of the Bible study, and let's be fair, this is supposedly how you don't study the Bible with someone, but nonetheless, this is actually something that Jehovah's Witnesses say to people, so it merits an answer. In this particular part of the Bible study, Jade is using lies and deception to distort history and deceive her student. We're then treated to this golden moment in a later conversation.
Anyway, back to the prophecy.
So God is love, but he's gonna kill billions. How's that work?
Well, it'll make sense later. But for now, let's just focus on what I was talking about earlier.
It will make sense later. Again, this is supposedly a botched Bible study. This is supposedly how not to study the Bible with someone. But what's interesting is the answer Jade gives here, it will make sense later, is surprisingly honest. Because that's essentially what you can expect to be told, or that's the gist of what you'll be told if you do raise this very pertinent question of how can a God of love kill billions at an impending Armageddon? Men, women, children, babies. Anyone who's not baptized, as we've already seen in a Watchtower quote given by Robert Siranko in this very same JW Broadcasting episode, everyone who's not a Jehovah's Witness deserves to die imminently at Armageddon, which will bring about the carnage of literally billions of people, because there are nearly 8 billion people on the planet, and only around 8.5 million Jehovah's Witnesses. How do we square the circle? How do we account for this being the plan if God is a God of love? Jade says it will all make sense later, and that's quite frankly how Jehovah's Witness indoctrination works. They hook you in with the palatable stuff, with the stuff about pandas and watermelons, with talk of peace and security, and all the warm, fuzzy, emotional reasoning. And then they wait until you have invested enough time and emotion that you want it to be true. You don't want to have wasted all of that time. So you're more open to this grotesque idea that anyone who doesn't agree with Jehovah's Witness beliefs deserves to die. And I found it fascinating when we catch up with Jade later in the apartment. She's talking to her 2 roommates and she's complaining about the woman she's studying with.
I really put myself into the study to try and make it live, and I get yes, no, maybe, or another insufferable off-topic question.
Another insufferable off-topic question. Is that referring to the question about the billions dying, the billions being slaughtered by a God of love? I think that's what she might be referring to. I think Jehovah's Witnesses are here being led to believe that this, again, incredibly pertinent question, very reasonable question, that frankly anyone studying with Jehovah's Witnesses or talking to Jehovah's Witnesses should be asking, is somehow an off-topic question, is a question that you shouldn't really be even considering.
October 2020 Watchtower. This box.
Exercise self-control by not talking too much. I guess I do need help.
But look, let the students see that you're excited about Bible truths.
Spot on there.
Make friends in the congregation. Oh, I could, or maybe we could do this. Look for signs that reveal her desire to serve Jehovah. Who's free on Friday?
Sorry, Jade, I'm busy.
Oh,
Yeah, I'd love to.
Okay. Jade? Jade?
A tablet?
Okay. Hey.
Hey.
So, a surprise today. My usual lecture has been cancelled in favour of a discussion. And?
Jade, I'm not really the drum roll type. Oh, hey.
Hi, I'm Nita, one of Jade's roommates. And you're...
Gladys.
So, let's start with the question you hit me with last time, which is why do we stay neutral when we see injustice?
I take it you've had your fair share? Me too. Although, not as bad as my mum and dad, from what they tell me.
But how will things ever change if we don't do something about it?
Let's see what the Bible has to say. In Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 23. Could you read that?
I well know, O Jehovah, that man's way does not belong to him. It does not belong to man who is walking even to direct his step. But if that's true, then the future of the human race is looking quite bleak. Does that mean then that there's no hope for us? There's no point carrying on?
Good question.
Very good question.
Jade was excited to conduct a study, but she learned that making disciples takes more than just enthusiasm. It also requires patience and the self-control to talk less and listen more.
Yes, talk less, listen more, be patient, exercise self-control, be enthusiastic, and be willing to resort to deception, to giving people wrong information about the Bible and Bible prophecy. Oh, and don't forget to dismiss pertinent questions that your student may bring up during the conversation if you consider them to be off topic. Well, I guess there's one thing I can agree with Robert Siranko on when he's summarizing the latest installment in the Jade and Nita saga, and that's right at the beginning when he told us that things had come full circle. That perfectly describes what we've seen here. Jade started out by being manipulated by Nita in this incredibly underhanded and surreptitious Bible study process where all manner of tried and trusted manipulation techniques are brought to bear on the unsuspecting Bible student. These techniques, these mind control techniques, ended up working on Jade, and she is now using them on others.